What is up, Vigilantes? How you guys doing? Happy Easter, if that's something you're celebrating. I happen to actually be with my family today, but tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific, my business partner and I are going to do a special training on how we do welcome sequences for our seven-figure clients. This is going to be a different kind of training compared to probably other welcome sequence trainings that you've seen. Because first of all, we're not just going to show you what emails we put in one random welcome sequence. That's the problem with a lot of welcome sequence training. It's just like, here's one welcome sequence we did for one client. And it's like, that doesn't help me understand how to do it for my client or a variety of different clients. And it also doesn't really talk about the concepts, the psychology, the principles behind welcome sequences, how they work, how you should kind of think about them. Because when you understand those things, you can really do anything you want with a welcome sequence, or at least you're able to apply them to a variety of different contexts when it comes to welcome sequences. But we are also going to show you a bunch of different examples of emails that we've done in our welcome sequences. So it's going to be super fun, super helpful, and it's pay what you want. So you can literally pay $1 if you want. Obviously, times are a bit weird right now. If you feel like, maybe money is just a bit tight, as much as I always encourage people to have an abundance mindset, and that energy really does, you know, affect your business and your life in a positive way. If that just doesn't feel good and right to you right now, that's all good. Throw us a couple bucks or throw us $1 or whatever. Come on the training, have a good time, learn some stuff, and you can always buy something from me or from us later. So what I want to do today, kind of to promote that, is I want to walk you through and kind of break down my own welcome email for my own list. You've seen it if you're on my email list, and if not, that's okay too. Um, and it has, in my opinion, a lot of really good principles. But actually, I would even say maybe a couple things that I could stand to improve. I haven't really looked at updating this welcome email in a long time, so there's probably some things about it that could be improved. So this is going to act as a bit of a lesson, but also a preview of some stuff we're going to discuss much deeper tomorrow in the training. If you can't make the training live, by the way, we will send a recording. And if you happen to be seeing this video, I don't really know where I'm going to post this video, but if you happen to be seeing it later after the training has already occurred, you can probably buy a recording. There'll be a link in whatever description or wherever this is. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully nothing silly or provocative is visible, and let's get into it. Okay. So this is just a test email that, I sent it to myself from my ESP. So first of all, the subject line is welcome to the tribe. And I do think it's good to not be too fancy with your subject lines in welcome emails. I think a lot of people, they see a lot of copywriters and clever copywriters out there, and they try to be really clever in all of their copy. And this is a problem that I have seen in a lot of copy in general, is prioritizing this effort towards cleverness over clarity. And so one of my sort of phrases that I say to people is clarity over cleverness, right? I'd rather you be more clear and just have a really good friggin' offer, right? Than trying to be clever and maybe it's entertaining, probably not, but you risk being confusing. And that not only disrupts the process of someone getting your offer, but it just makes them not able to even understand what the hell you're saying in the first place, and so they're likely to just disappear or not engage with your content further. So in welcome subject lines, I often just put the word welcome because I want to be clear, this is what's happening. Again, I think that people, when they're trying to be too clever, it's because deep down they have a kind of an insecurity about what they have to say or what their offer is or whatever the case may be. So they're trying to kind of compensate with extra cleverness and extra stuff. But in reality, if someone's happy to be on your email list, and if it's the right fit for them, saying the word welcome or some variation thereof is perfectly fine. And anyone who doesn't respond well to that, they're probably not the right fit for the list in the first place. Okay. It's kind of like dating. You'll hear me talk about this a lot in the training, that there's a lot of analogies to email marketing in general, and especially welcome sequences to dating. And, if you think about dating, right, like a lot of people try to be so clever in the way that they're asking someone out or whatever the case may be, thinking that that's going to be the thing that makes the difference between the person saying yes or no. It maybe makes a little bit of difference, but in reality, in most cases, if someone likes you, if someone's, single and open and interested, they're going to say yes pretty much no matter what you say, as long as it's not completely insane. And so you don't necessarily need to be too crazy. You don't need to be too clever. And again, it's the same thing with copy in general, welcome flows, etc. So I know we're only talking about the subject line, but a lot of these principles actually apply to the whole rest of the email too. Now, the other thing I will say is that I'm injecting a little bit of branding here. So I use the word tribe here because I want to feel a little bit like a community. I also want to just use a little bit different language. Not every brand uses the word tribe. I think I also got this because I read a book called Tribe, which is about like psychology and PTSD and communities and things of that sort. It's a good book. That's a bit of a digression, but I really like that word tribe as a way to sort of describe a community of people. So it's very unique to me and my brand. And so if you're writing for yourself or if you're writing for a client, think about what is some of the language that they use that's very unique to them. As an example, we have some clients that love to use the word bestie if it's like a girl brand, or friend, or let me think if there's another example. It'll come to me, but things like that. Okay. And then similarly, I use the word vigilante here because I'm trying to kind of have some uniqueness to the brand, to my brand, which is vigilante copywriter, vigilante entrepreneur. Okay. So we get into the email. First off, thank you for subscribing to my email list. It means a lot that you're here, and I do not take your time or attention for granted. So starting off with some, for being being pleasant, being friendly. You could say I should jump right into like something really exciting, or like getting right into some kind of a freebie. There's actually no freebie in this email. It's there's no offer or anything like that. So actually, there might be an offer, but there's no freebie. But I think it's okay to just start out warm and friendly. Again, we don't have to overthink the cleverness. We don't have to always be so strict about these capital C copywriting rules. Second, get ready for some awesome shit. So to me, that's when we jump into like, we almost start off kind of pleasant and then we jump into the intense stuff. Vigilante entrepreneurship is about doing things differently while serving others as well as yourself. This is a big thing for me. Again, this is kind of my brand or whatever. It's like, I really am interested in helping people and helping, if we're going to do marketing for businesses, this should be something that helps people in the world. And so I'm getting right to that at the top. It's about fun, freedom, authenticity on your own terms. Again, this is like my own, kind of ethos, my own brand. But it's also, what this is doing is it's calling out, who is this the right email list for? It's making people go, hey, that sounds like me. I should be on this list. And so this is one of the principles we'll talk about a lot tomorrow in the training is you want to sort of express what are the values of the brand, but then also call out who is this for, So let's move right along. To that end, let me make a few promises. And so what I've done here is I kind of have this cool, like bolded list. And to me, first of all, this makes it very easy to read. The fact that it's bolded, that there's numbers. I'm a big fan of using punctuation and like, structure to make things more readable. So I love using dashes, colons, things of that sort, numbers, lists, anything you can do like that to make it a little bit more easy for your eyes to consume. I think that helps a lot. And so we set some expectations. I'll be emailing you on a regular basis. It may not be daily, but it will be often. I have a lot to say. My sincere intention is to help you. Again, I'm really kind of creating that positive energy. Hopefully, hopefully people feel that way. And I talk about like what I'm going to talk about, which is, what's going to get people excited to be on the list. What are my emails going to be about? Again, we're setting some positive expectations here. We want people to feel that they're in the right place and that they're excited to. It's you don't want them to, when somebody gets on your email list, you want them to be like, oh wow, I'm excited to see what emails are coming. You don't want them to feel like, oh, they're just gonna sell me more shit. Yes, selling will occur, but you want the emails to be exciting. Like finding a good YouTube channel or something like that. Let's just move through this. I'm gonna get deep, personal, maybe even weird. That's how I fucking roll, and I hope you like it too. Yes, as you know, I'm very transparent and open in my emails and in general. And I will be selling stuff too. And so what's cool about this is the way I phrase this and the way I phrase all this is I'm basically saying I'm going to be selling stuff, but like, look at how positive it is. Look how helpful it will be. I'm listing out the things that will be helpful to you. I could probably have done a better job of like selling here, but that's not really the point of the welcome email for me. And it makes all this stuff seem positive and like what someone would be interested in. And I really emphasize this line, how I do, if I promote something, It's because I know it'll help you. And I don't want you to feel pressured to purchase anything. And in my view, at least in my list, when I say I don't want you to feel pressured, that removes the pressure and actually, in my view, makes it easier for someone to buy because they're not feeling pressured. It's kind of like we're all rebellious teens in a way. We don't want to do something because we're made to do something. We want to do it because it's our choice. Okay. And then some expectations of specific things that are going to come in future emails. Some of this is fun. Some of this is kind of curiosity inducing. Some of this seems very, like practical, like best tips on writing and creativity, or like my mastery method. This is a really good process, by the way. Things like that. Injected a bit of fun personality with wow, that's a lot of cool stuff. I'll also tell you a bit more about me. Hopefully that excites you. And if any of this doesn't sound good, and I do this in a lot of emails, this one particular phrase, I say there's a button at the end of the email that rhymes with fun subscribe. You won't hurt my feelings, but I'll be sad to see you go, or something like that. I put this word fun subscribe in a lot of welcome emails. Maybe you can copy me. Maybe I don't want you to. I don't know. But that's a thing that I do. Because I'm basically letting people know they can unsubscribe, but I'm again doing it in this kind of like fun way that hopefully the people that stick around, they read that and they think that's fun and they appreciate it. One last thing, please hit reply and tell me about yourself. And this is the main CTA in this email, because in the way I treat my list is I want to get to know the people on my list, and I'm playing more of the long game. So I'm not really trying to get them to make to purchase an offer right away. I would actually, if I give them one thing to do, I would rather they reply to me, because first of all, I can just sell them in the like, direct messaging if I have to. But also I really do want to hear what my list is interested in, and I'll sell to them over the long term. So I don't really stress about having a front end offer. It would probably be a good thing to test. It's just not what I've done. And if anything would probably add to this, it would maybe be to have some piece of content or something that they can take away. But I mainly want people to reply. I guess I do have a CTA here. I might have added this later. So then in the PS, it's like bonus points if you want to do all the deliverability stuff. And then PPS, here's my offer. Now, I will say this is a very clear benefit-oriented sort of headline, so to speak, for the offer. So one-on-one help to write great emails in just 7 to 10 minutes each. A lot of email copywriters would love to do that. And here's something I can do to help you do that. And since it's in the PS, comes off a bit softer. Now, for a lot of brands, I do not put the offer in the PS. I put the offer in the main email. It just depends on the brand. So this is to say, don't be afraid to sell in your welcome email. The welcome email is going to have the highest open rate. It's going to have a lot of engagement. A lot of people are going to read it. A lot of people are going to be very excited, and their buyer temperature is going to be pretty high because they're opting into a list. And if they're opting into a list, it probably means they're in the mood to solve their problem. So putting an offer in there is really important. And so one of the main things you do want to think about with your welcome emails and welcome sequence as a whole is should be there to sell. It's not the only thing to be done. The bonding and so on, the brand presentation, the personality presentation, that's all important too, but definitely want to be selling. Yeah. So overall, what I like about this is it's got a lot of personality. It's definitely got vibes. It does set a lot of expectations and hopefully a lot of excitement for future emails, because really you got to be thinking about the long term. We can talk more about that in another video or in the training tomorrow. So like I said, a lot of personality, a lot of some humor even, and also a lot of sincerity. So it's this combo of like, there's humor and there's fun, but it's also like, to me, it comes off very sincere, at least hopefully, right? And lets them know kind of like, hey, what are we all about? And this is a big thing with welcome emails. You just kind of want people to know, like, what is this brand? What are we all about? And in my view, a lot of brands fuck this up because in their mind, it's very clear what they're all about. And they think everyone who's coming into their ecosystem is already so familiar with them, but that's not usually true, especially if they're coming from ads. They may click an ad, never heard, they don't even know your name. So I'll give this as one last little bonus tip. Especially if you're running like a welcome sequence that comes from an ad, if you're running ads and they go to the welcome sequence, put the name of the brand in the from name. So I've seen this where if I click on like an ad for, I'm going to make this up, like a personal trainer or like a strength related thing. Maybe all I saw in the ad was someone was like swinging a kettlebell. Let's just say that. The I click the ad, I opt in, and I move on with my day. I don't check my email right away. Even if I did, this would still apply, but it's especially true if I don't check my email. Okay. Then a few hours later, I go to my inbox and I'm like, who is freaking Jim Bob George? Because I never even saw the guy's name in the ad. I saw the name of the brand. Maybe I saw the kettlebell thing, whatever. So I see that from name and I'm like, I don't even know who this is. So I'm confused. I may not even click it. I may think it's spam. I don't know. So you want to ease people through and really hold their hand. This is really true in all marketing. Is really true in a lot of copywriting, especially welcome sequences, blah, 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 but especially that welcome email if it comes from an ad. So that's a little tip for you. I could elaborate on that, but I don't want to make this video too long. Let's stop sharing the screen. Let's say goodbye. I hope this video was useful, interesting, entertaining, etc. I hope you like my welcome email. If you have any feedback on my welcome email, feel free to hit me back. I'm happy to hear it. Otherwise, though, I hope you're having an awesome day. I hope to see everybody in the welcome sequence training tomorrow. If you're seeing this after the fact, buy the welcome sequence recording. It's going to be amazing. If you need anything from me, just hit reply. I'm happy to help. All right. Love you. See you soon.